how to motivate yourself and others to get things done. 5 ways to boost productivity. There's a reason why productivity is so frequently discussed. It's one of the trickiest challenges we face as working professionals, especially in high-pressure environments like offices. Even though it feels like everyone is constantly busy, the sad truth is that most of us aren't as productive as we could be. There are many things that you need to do to stay productive at work and keep your performance from dipping after a long day at work. The more you read about productivity, the more you understand that it encompasses everything from management practices to motivation techniques. We have outlined here 5 ways to boost your own productivity and help others around you get their stuff done sooner. Organize your workspace. There are 2 main reasons why you should stay organized. First, it forces you to be more mindful about how you're spending your time. Second, when you're more organized, you're less stressed out. When your workspace is clean and clutter-free, it forces you to be more mindful about how you're spending your time. You'll be less likely to leave half-finished projects strewn across your desk. You'll be less likely to leave your lunch sitting half-eaten at your desk. You'll be less likely to fall into the habit of wasting time on social media. Simply by taking a few moments to clean up your workspace, you can drastically improve your work performance. Set smart goals. Studies have shown that the way you set your goals will impact your performance at work and in life. When you set a goal, you need to ask yourself whether it's a goal or a wish. A goal is something that you have control over, whereas a wish is something that is just out of your reach. If you want to do something, you need to be careful about how you set your goals. You need to make sure that you don't fall into these 5 common mistakes that lead to failure. You need to be very careful about how you set your goals and how you visualize success, because that can make all the difference in your ability to actually reach that goal. If you set goals that are too lofty, you will be setting yourself up for failure. If you set goals that are too low, you're never going to reach your full potential. Track your time. The best way to avoid wasting time at work is to track your time. That's the only way you're going to be able to see where you're dropping the ball. When you know where you're falling short, you can implement strategies to make up for those weaknesses. If you want to be successful at work, you need to start taking time seriously. You can't just dive into your work, start doing your thing, and expect to be successful. You need to be very careful about how you're spending your time, what you're spending your time on, and how you're spending your time. You need to make it a point to track your time and keep track of where your weaknesses lie. You can't fix problems if you don't know they exist. Don't forget to breathe. When you're really stressed out, it's easy to fall into the bad habit of forgetting to breathe, and that's something that you don't want to happen. The more stressed out you are, the more you need to breathe, but that's much easier said than done. Breathing is one of the most natural things we do as humans, but it's also one of the things we're most likely to forget to do when we're stressed out. You need to make it a point to take time out of your day to breathe. You need to set aside a few minutes every day to just sit and breathe. When you're stressed out, you need to make sure that you're not forgetting to breathe, and that's an easy way to stay mindful of that. Ask for help. Nobody likes to show weakness, but that's precisely the time when you need to ask for help. When you're struggling with something, when you're trying to get something done and it's just not working, that's when you need to ask for help. When you're trying to do something and it's just not working, it's easy to convince yourself that you're just not talented enough to do it. You can't let those negative thoughts take over. You have to learn how to push those thoughts aside and ask for help. When you're trying to do something and it doesn't work, don't get discouraged. Instead, try a different approach or ask for help. You can't get anywhere if you don't try, and you definitely can't get anywhere if you don't ask for help. Even the most talented people fail, and they ask for help, too. Productivity is a complicated thing to measure, but it's important to try to measure it regardless. There are many ways to boost your productivity, but they all start with one simple principle: be mindful of your actions. These are the things that you need to do to stay productive at work.